Hey, good morning. What's up, everybody? Over here at the 510 shop this morning. I'm on my little lunch break, and I got a guy who wants the engine changed out on this little, I think it's a 97 Honda Civic hatch. So I'm gonna kind of take you through the process of it. I usually don't take on other people's mechanic jobs. Here, usually we just work on our own. And like I said, I buy and sell cars to make the money that I need for building our cars. And I decided to do this one because this is generally the same setup of Civic that me and Richard have, since we both have Civics. And I've never really worked on them too much, since I've never been that interested in them. So this would be a really good time for me to kind of just get some little know-how and get familiar with these type of cars. So I'm going to be pulling the motor out, and I'll take y'all through the steps of what I'm going to be doing. So to begin with, I'm going to be taking off, worrying about everything on the top, accessories like AC and power steering, wiring, throttle cables, fuel lines, brake booster, the heater core lines, radiator lines, the intake, disconnecting the battery, all that stuff, anything I see on the top. And then once I got everything on the top disconnected, I'll jack the car up and get the little stuff on the bottom done. This is an automatic car. I'm not sure if I'm going to do motor and trans, or if on these cars it's like many others that you can just pull the motor out if it's an automatic without doing the transmission. So we'll see how it goes. I'll give y'all an update in a bit. Okay, so got a little bit done to it. I started with removing the distributor and then the heater core hoses, and then the radiator hoses, and then two lines that go to the throttle body. I got the fuel injectors and just kind of laid them out. The other one's in this little bucket right here. I didn't want to stay put, so I just took it off and put it to the side. I disconnected the battery, obviously, and then I just disconnected any plugs that were in the surrounding area. And then after that, I disconnected the throttle cables, or the throttle cable, and the return line, and the brake booster line, and then the PCV valve hose. And then once that was out of the way, I took out what was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 12 millimeter intake nuts, and with that the intake manifold completely slid off. It might be possible to leave it on there to remove the motor, but from what I see, there's a lot of stuff going on back here that needs to be disconnected, and I just don't see it possible to get that out unless you have the intake manifold off. So that's what I did to make it easier for me. So that's where I'm at, and I'll give you another update as soon as I remove some more stuff. Alright guys, so I'm back from back out of work, and I'm back here at the shop, at the 510 shop, and got my engine hoist hooked up, and fixing to start pulling old girl out. So give y'all an update here in a second. I'm going to disconnect these bell housing bolts on the top, and we're going to try to see if in good faith it'll come out the top. I'm hoping it does. It's going to be tight squeeze, but we'll see if we can get it done. Okay, so I got the motor pulled out. I forgot to disconnect one of the rear bell housing bolts, but once I got that off, if anybody's curious, for future reference, you can definitely pull the motor out through the top. If it's perfectly, nothing jams or moves or anything. So now the 5-speed one, I'm pretty sure is different. Probably have to come out the bottom with transmission and everything, but for the automatics you don't have to pull off the underdrive pulley or anything. It just comes right out. So I'm fixing to put this other one down, and then I'm going to get the new one prepped and go ahead and start installing it. Hey, what's up everybody? So I got the old motor out. I got the new motor prepped, ready to go in. We're dropping it in here. And just a little tip for you guys, remember that sometimes when you pull a motor out, the dowel pin will stay, the dowel pins will either stay in the transmission or the motor. And if it does, just remember that you either need to make sure they're not in the transmission and in the motor, or in the motor and not in the transmission, or vice versa. I just got confused when I said. But anyways, I'm fixing to start putting it in. I'll give you an update as soon as I'm done. Okay guys, so I got the motor set in there. It went in super smooth, no problems at all. I got the dowel pins to line up, and I got a few of the bell housing bolts in there, and then I put the driver's side mount. So now just gonna start the reverse process, start putting everything back together, and we're just gonna take our time and have some fun with it. There's a couple of sensors that I need to change out. There's one here and there's one other one I gotta find from the old motor that were broken on this one. And that's it. So I'll give you another update here in a little bit. Alright guys, so I got the motor bolted in, got the torque converter bolts put on, all the bell housing bolts, got all the accessories put on, the exhaust manifold put on, started plugging up all the sensors, got the starter back in. So basically all I got done is just the back part, just plug up a few plugs and put the manifold back, intake manifold back on, and I got to put the distributor. So got about another hour's worth of work or so to do. So I'll give you an update here in a minute. Alright guys, so I got the car done. I didn't put the intake on, I'm just gonna crank it up like that. And when the guy dropped it off to me, he tried to turn it on to get it off of his trailer, but nothing would happen and the battery had a full charge. So I thought maybe the battery had gone dead, so I hooked up the jumper cables to the other Civic and still nothing. And when I went to go jumper, I went ahead and just decided to jumper the starter to the signal. Starter's dead. He hit it with the hammer and it kind of wants to pop out for a second, but then nothing happened. So he's got a bad starter. I'm going to let him know so he can get another one, and then I can try to crank it up again. Good morning. What's up, everybody? So, you know, y'all saw the progress or the video I did of this thing getting fixed. And unfortunately, it's a sad day for the owner. He got the motor from a guy on Facebook. He went out to somewhere in the Dallas area to get it. He paid like $200 for the motor, and paid like another $400 to get it put in by me. And cranked it up this morning after he got a starter that he spent $150 on because it was bad. And this thing has a spun rod bearing or main. So motor's no good. He got sold a bad motor. So you know, he's a little upset. I think he's just gonna end up selling it. He's trying to get a hold of the guy, see if he can get some of his money back. Personally, if it was me, I'd go over there, find the guy, and break his face if he refused to give me the money or avoid me, since this gentleman knows where he lives. Either way, it's not gonna have a good ending. He thinks he might be wanting to part this car out, but if anybody watching this and you're in the local East Texas area and you might be interested in buying it, it does have a clean and clear title, and all in his name. It's a very decent body. The paint's a little bit out, but not too bad. And it will need a motor. I'm pretty sure he'll throw in the other one that was in the first place. It's got a boneheaded gasket, but I would turn it on so y'all could hear it, but he asked me not to crank it up anymore after we heard it and I heard the way it sounded. So, you know, womp, no good. But what can you do? That's what you gamble with when you buy a used motor. But anyways, that's it for this one, guys. So we'll see what the next project is. I'm gonna be filming for another segment for the Civic. I got it for my Civic. I got it all masked up and ready to go, and it's gonna be fixing to get painted in about an hour or so. So I'll be uploading a video of that as well. Hope y'all have a good day. See you later. Bye. Oh, and one other thing. You know, if y'all like the videos that I do, you know, y'all please, you know, like and subscribe to the channel. You know, I'm not really big on, you know, if I get a whole bunch of, you know, followers on the channel or whatever, you know, it's no big deal. You know, I really just do this because I love talking about, you know, all the cars that I work on and everything that I go through, and you know, it's just cool to me. I like watching other people's channels where they do the same stuff, and it just amazes me how there's people out there that are just like me, that they move around this kind of stuff all the time. So, you know, if y'all like that kind of stuff, y'all please subscribe, and you know, I'd be glad to answer any questions y'all have about cars or the projects. On, you know, if you see videos of what I've done to the Eclipses and the SS Cobalt that I have and all that, I mean, anything you want more clarity on, y'all just comment on there and let me know, and I'll be glad to I'll be glad to talk with y'all. I love talking cars, you know, especially if y'all are like noobs, you don't know what y'all are doing too well and y'all want some advice, y'all just let me know. I'll be happy to help y'all out. So, okay, now, so y'all have a good day today, and I hope I see you on the next video.